The University of Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore is going to withdraw his appeal that the NCAA had put in place for his 2-year show cause and his 3 suspended games over 2 seasons. But Michigan is not going to drop its appeal for the what looks like about $30 million in fines for allowing Connor Stallions to engage in sign stealing that is expressly prohibited in the NCAA bylaws. But the way in which Michigan decided to form its statement, whew, that's the doozy. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. Are you surprised that Michigan decided to withdraw, or I should say, Sherrone Moore decided to withdraw his appeal of the sanctions the NCAA leveled against him 8 games into the 2025 season, and after he'd already served 2 of the 3 mandated games he's supposed to be suspended, and the 2-year show cause is nearly a year over? Because I'm not. This news came from Dan Wetzel, who was watching the NCAA database and was Johnny on the spot with it with the scoop. But it means that they're focused on the big play. And the big play is the sanctions and fines that the NCAA has levied on the University of Michigan for its role as the university for which Connor Stallions is working for engaging in the sign stealing. So just so we're clear, it's not sign stealing that Connor Stallions and Michigan performed. That's legal. But sign stealing is an easy way for us all to communicate about going into opposing team stadiums, videotaping their signals, getting them back to your home, watching them on video, code breaking them, and then throwing them into an all-encompassing binder. Now, Michigan fans will be the first to tell you, show me the evidence. Okay, dog. Okay, cool, bet. But this is ongoing. So right now, Michigan did not have to vacate any wins, and it did not have to serve a postseason bowl ban, although I think the postseason bowl ban would have done the job of these $30 million in fines. It's interesting to me that the NCAA chose to go this route, but it's thought to be that really going at people's wallets is the way to which you can curb this behavior, especially in this economy for college football that has never been seen before, where there's more money that needs to be spread out than ever before. And that $30 million is the cost of an FBS Power 4 roster right now. The number's probably going to go up soon, by the way. But postseason bowl ban, maybe they bounce back from that. Maybe they don't. Ohio State certainly did. They went undefeated for 2 years. It's just what happened. That lost, or I should say, no, they went undefeated, then they won the national championship. But that 12-0 season that they had in 2012, I really wish they could get that back, but they can't because of the postseason bowl ban, where they never actually got an opportunity to play for a national championship or even be considered for a mythical national championship, which I think they should absolutely be. And in retrospect, maybe that gets corrected. But for Michigan, none of that is something you got to worry about. Your 15-0 season stays intact because Jim Harbaugh served his suspensions during the season from the Big Ten, and he's got his 8-year show cause while he's a coach in the NFL, which makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, because he's coming back to coach college football. Yeah, sure, especially in that 8-year spot. But the show cause just means that the university that wants to employ you has to show cause for why they need to hire you and or only you. It's really difficult to meet the criteria, right? That's why you put it in place. It's kind of like a death sentence, or I should say mandatory. You got to sit down for a little while. They put you in timeout. But what I found more interesting about the way in which Michigan decided to talk about this in a statement was, after careful consideration of the prolonged impact of an appeal on Michigan and our student athletes, we have withdrawn our appeal of the NCAA's infractions, decision, and penalties. Okay. Goes on. In a number of instances, the decision makes fundamental errors in interpreting the NCAA bylaws. Talk about the penalties. And it includes a number of conclusions that are directly contrary to the evidence or lack of evidence in the record. Hey, show us the video. Okay. Also, the part where they're saying they can't read their bylaws is funny because they read their bylaws to bring this case in the first place. And that is cheeky as hell. That is, did you read your rules? Because it doesn't look like you did. And the NCAA being the big bad in this is ridiculous. I don't like it. I hate it when people make these arguments about the NCAA needs to go and it's time for the NCAA to be up and over. It's an institution that is empowered by its 1,600 members, of which the Michigan is one. If you want to see it toppled, you could have done that a long time ago. Anytime, honestly. The NCAA was created by Theodore Roosevelt because football players were dying in football games. We've come a long way since this. We've had more than 100 years to find a different way of doing it. But too many people were getting rich while players were not getting paid. And we said amateurism and scholarships, that should be enough. No, it should never be enough. It was never enough. There's so much money here now. And that's the point, right? So you don't like the way the NCAA does business, then you, the members, should change the bylaws. Or you, the members, should be made to respect them and pay the penalties when you don't. This is fundamental. This is what you do in any society, in any organized group. If you break the rules of the group, there is a penalty to pay. Sometimes in a society, that penalty is a fine. Sometimes it's imprisonment. Sometimes it's the death penalty. My goodness, guys, we gave SMU the death penalty for paying players. Now, everybody pay players. See how antiquated that is? But at the time, the rule on the book was you can't do it. And to discourage anybody else from doing it, we're basically going to make it so it's almost impossible for you to have a football program that functions for 20 years. And that is essentially what happened to SMU. It took them 30 years to dig themselves out. And now they're fine. They're good. They're flush. They also got billionaire alumni, right? Not everybody's got that. Michigan does. Just going to put that out there. You got $30 million anytime you want to go talk to Larry Ellison or any of the other millionaire, billionaire Michigan alumnus who call Michigan football one of their favorite things. Could do that. But you're fighting this on principle, right? Or the principle that you don't believe that you did anything wrong. Cool. Continue to do that. But I think the reason that you're seeing the Sherrone Moore thing picked to the side is it's probably holding up the line on getting to these fines, right? Sooner or later, you're going to have to start paying these. Because as I understand this thing, it's a lot like the IRS. You're on their schedule. You're not on your schedule. So just because we ain't heard the appeal doesn't mean that you ain't got to start paying in. We'll see. We'll find out. But I don't expect this process to be short at all. I expect it to be long. I expect lawyers to be involved. I expect lots of paperwork. And I expect Michigan to fight this to the bloody end because that's what they do.